How are you doing today? I hope your week was great. I had a real concern with this new Matrix Resurrections movie that it wasn't going to meet up to the expectations of the trailer. And now that I've seen it, I can't help but make comparisons to the first film. I know some people might say that's not fair, but that's really the film that pulled everyone into the theater. And it's what really gave this film even a ticket through the door. All right, before we get started, I want to remind you to please subscribe to this channel, ring the subscription bell if you are on YouTube, and if you're on another platform, go ahead and subscribe there and just go along on this journey with me as I post these various videos on everything from pop culture to politics to music, anything that's on my mind. And today it's Matrix Resurrections, directed by Lana Wachowski and co-written by David Mitchell, who also wrote Cloud Atlas. I loved Cloud Atlas. It was, I thought it was very creative. I've seen it quite a few times. A lot of people thought it was convoluted and confusing. See it a couple of times. You might change your mind on that. It was also co-written by Alexander Haman. And so I had high hopes for this. Film starts out well enough, okay? You got this character here that we come in on, and it starts off with all the kind of the Matrix action and all of that, and you are introduced to this character right here. Her name is Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick, and I don't know what she's really doing at the beginning. I guess she's watching some programs play out within the Matrix. It's using different characters, so apparently these programs play over and over again and kind of come out to the same outcome, which takes choice away and just makes things just, hey, life, it just plays out. You really don't have a choice in how things go. So, but they're different people, and Bugs somehow gets intertwined into this. I think she's trying to find Neo in this, which is Keanu Reeves' character. We're introduced to Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, not to be confused by Yahya Abdul-Mateen I, who plays the new Morpheus. And then, of course, Keanu Reeves' character, Carrie-Anne Moss's character, is Trinity, and they have completely different lives now. Okay, and they're meeting in a coffee shop and all that, and Keanu Reeves has designed this game called The Matrix, so it has all this meta stuff, okay? This premise of being self-aware of being self-aware of self-aware of itself, right? And that made it fun for me for the first 40 minutes or so. I was excited. I could see the possibilities, and then it just kind of becomes heavy with self-awareness and nostalgia. Lots of flashbacks to the original to remind you why you're here, and it really doesn't have to, okay? You could just go ahead and do a new story. We've all been there, and we know what it's all about. The red pill, blue pill thing. And it got a little... We could get into the whole red pill, blue pill thing and how the conservatives kind of hijacked that and how she kind of pulled that away within this film. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole too much. But they have new characters in here playing some old characters. And to me, the new Mr. Smith, played by Jonathan Groff, just didn't meet up to Hugo Weaving's, version of that character. It's iconic, the way he played it out, and I just didn't understand, what this was that he was. It just Mr. Anderson. They say he's Mr. Smith, but I just don't see it in there. Okay, not quite the same way with Yahya's version of Morpheus, but Lawrence Fishburne's shoes are hard to fill, right? I mean, he's, again, iconic Morpheus, and he was just more of a stoic figure that you respected, right? He had that guru kind of way about him that I just don't see that same thing in Yahya's performance of this. Jada Pinkett Smith's character felt really shoehorned in, and they introduced some new characters, but I don't know, man. To me, they fall kind of weak and forgettable, unlike the first film, which all the supporting characters were very memorable and played an integral part in the story as it went along. And as we lost characters, you're like, you didn't like, I mean, you felt it, right? And it was important. I don't know, they just didn't do the same thing with this one. They had Christina Ricci in there, I'm such a big fan. And I was excited that she was going to be in this, and she's in there for like a minute. And she sparkles on film while she's there, but they just, for whatever reason, that's all they, here's your cameo. Hope you enjoyed it. Other than that, I'm sorry to say, look, I got to put my sad face on. Okay, because these scenes and this just felt unmotivated. The story felt forced, and everything just kind of happened, about, like I said, about a third of the way into the film. It was just, the visuals weren't bad. I could go along with that. And they had some good, Matrix-y action and all of that. But, we've seen it. And the original had all those really original, groundbreaking, stylized, artistic effects and stunts and action and all of that. And this just kind of felt like more of the same. And as a matter of fact, the special effects, and to me, felt really kind of lame and unimaginative. Lame and unimaginative. I can get it out compared to the first film. The choreography to me was sluggish and clunky. That's to me. I'm watching and I'm just not feeling it like I did in the first one. Maybe it just kind of got old on me. I don't know. But I could really tell artistically they just missed the mark here. There was a lot of the camera angles were just kind of stale and just uninspired. And I don't know. I wanted this film to rock so bad. You can tell by the way I did the interview to the trailer. I was really excited and I was on board, man. I was rooting for this film. I'll put a link in here to that video so you can check that out. So I can't help but compare it a little bit to the Spider-Man No Way Home, because that's the film that this movie's contending with right now. And in there, you could see that people were into it and applauding periodically throughout the film. And everyone would laugh together, and there was an audience unity there. And at the end of the film, everybody cheered. You could really tell everybody enjoyed that movie. This movie, nothing. There was even a few groans in there from a couple of things they were doing with the robot characters in there. They were like helper/pets or something like that. And it was just like, really, we're going to do this? Started to feel like, Star Wars Jar Jar a little bit there. And at the end, there just wasn't a peep. Everybody just kind of got up and left. And that was it. And the ending, to me, where they're both kind of dangling there at the end, Neo and Trinity, and then they fly off together. I don't know. I'm sorry, I got to give that away, but it's just a terrible. I don't know. Very uninspired. Left nothing to the imagination, and it was a lot like the previous sequels. Okay, I really have such a hard time believing that these are all written and produced by the same people. Right now, I hate to just be a critic, moving through this without giving some kind of thoughts as to what could have made it a better film. Okay, that's just how I am. Don't tell me what's wrong with it without coming with something. What could have made it better? Well, I know what they were going for here. It was this kind of transcendent love story between Neo and Trinity. But I'm sorry, love, when you have that kind of that young love, that kind of innocent love, you can get behind it a lot easier than you can when you're looking at a couple of 50-somethings, right? It's just not the same thing, I know love conquers all and all that, but I'd rather see, the young version of two people fighting with a future ahead of them than a couple of people who are in their retirement years. It might work for The Notebook, but not for this. They could have done like a B story along that kind of turned into an A story. So like Bugs could have kind of been the new Trinity type character who's looking for the one. And then that person that they find becomes the new love interest that moves along. And in doing that, they discover Neo within this version of the Matrix, and they could have played it all out the same way, including with Trinity, and really had that whole love story happen, as an A story turning B story, and they could have moved through it a lot quicker, okay? And then somewhere within this, those two couples unite and together fight a common enemy along with some sideline characters that we might maybe care about. That would have been nice, right? But you see it done. It can be like in the Cobra Kai series. You see that done. We're bringing back these old characters, and they have the same old conflicts, and we're into it. And so you have that older generation. It's like, yes, I love these characters. But then they introduce their kids, and they become a working, integral part of that series. That series is amazing, okay? So they really could have done that here. But maybe they're wanting to cap this whole thing off. I don't know. Again, for a film that seemed so self-aware, or like they at least thought they were self-aware, it just really is not the same film in my opinion as I'm not expecting it to be the same film, but at least be self-aware enough to understand somewhat what made the original film what it was. So let me pop on up over here. And I just wanted to show you this. This was depressing. Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, these have gone down since I first saw them. They were, it was like 79 before, but that's, you get a lot of the fans, the original fans will go out and see it the first day. Now we're going to get more of the regular public, and I expect these numbers are probably going to go down, right? So, as I said, I think at this point, the original creators, God, I have to ask myself who actually, look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but who actually wrote that original Matrix? Because it just doesn't seem like it's the same people. They just have no idea or any awareness of what made that film, the original film, such a masterpiece, right? These new ones, and this one, worst of all, just doesn't have any of the same creative integrity, artistic prowess, the same, I don't know, philosophies and philosophical consciousness. Even though they talk about it in this film, it doesn't follow any of it. It doesn't have any understanding of itself and what made the Matrix, the original Matrix, so cool. So, in conclusion, look, you want to see a Matrix? Go see the original one. That's my advice. That's what we have, and it's just a really, really kick-ass film. Now, look, you might disagree with me on my critique of this film, and if you do, leave the comments down below and tell us what you liked about the film and maybe what I'm missing. Because I could, maybe I could be. No, I couldn't. This film just it was bad. Okay, so follow me on Facebook. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me there. Sign on at midnightamerican.com. Become a member of the Night Crew so that we can stay in touch. Guys, thank you so much for spending this time with me today and moving forward. And until next time, know yourself better than you know anyone else.